He wants attention. He's attention starved. God, he wants some real human attention. He hasn't had that in millennia. Though some may argue, and by some may argue, I mean the voices in my head. Hey everyone, this is Nixily, or Nix, or Nick, whatever you want to call me. This is a speed paint commentary. This is a speed paint commentary where I just go over my old art and talk about my process, give some advice, and critique my old artwork pretty much. So I don't have too much to say about it here, so without further ado, let's get started. My process varies. One thing I do consistently do is I always do a flat color layer because it helps me just recognize like what my base color is and decide how I'm gonna render later. For this guy specifically, my OC. He is so far pretty saturated, so I know in my head that I'm going for like a brighter sort of piece. Like there's going to be a lot of light on him and I want a high contrast. And also I love saturated artwork. My art is so incredibly saturated for no reason other than the fact that it's pretty. I think it's so pretty. I love bright colors. I love bright colors. There's nothing like bright colors and high contrast. I love it. So here I've already kind of started rendering. I only did the flat color for the skin and he's kind of orangey. And then I started going in with these red shadows. I didn't want to do brown or like a full brown. I wanted something reddish because again, I have a more saturated style. So knowing that when I want to shadow something, I usually go a little bit either to the right or the left of the color on the color wheel and use that color to actually do my shades. And then, so even if the saturation is a little higher, it still looks shaded because it still looks a little darker, if you know what I mean. So like a deeper red to shade the orange just makes it pop, and that feels less muddy in my opinion. I've started coloring in the hair, very bright purple. You can see me already going in for details for absolutely no reason, or like his hairline. I love doing like the little strands of hair at the forehead. It's just fun. Coloring in his hair and then also trying to do like a little wavy like a perspective thing here, but I don't even know where the perspective is. Obviously, you can tell by the hair floating in the water. I had just decided that he was going to be in water, which you would think would be a given the pose, but no. Well, no, not necessarily. Sometimes perspective is a little difficult. I thought I was going to draw the rest of the body, just like him kind of looking up, but then I realized I didn't really want to do that, and that would be a lot. So water it was. Yes, me erasing all of that hair, realizing I did that wanting the hair to float in the water, but I realized that was way too high and that would make him look a lot closer than he was. But then his arms are also showing he's not that close. So his hair and his arms need to look like they're on a similar level, which they didn't. They did not at all. I don't know what I was doing. But you can see me get fascinated with the hair and trying to make it look really pretty and mermaidy and floating in the water. Just curls. His hair is curly, but I made it so it looks straighter because it's in the water. Though some may argue, and by some may argue, I mean the voices in my head, would argue that maybe his hair should have been curlier because it was in the water, but also his hair isn't super, it's not like 4C like type curl. It's like a wave, not even wave. It's like a, dude, I don't even know. Like to the point where I think his hair could get heavy enough to get kind of straighter. But, you know, also, this might just be a different timeline version of him because he has a lot of different looks throughout the time. Anyway, not the point. Not the point. Overlay. God, I was using overlay so hard in this piece. I kind of regret it. I think I could have done better. I don't know. I think I could have done something better. I feel like I could have done lighting better here. I'm not going to worry too hard. I'm not going to agonize. Don't agonize. Just do better. Just do better. That's all. I'm using... I learned how to put the Gaussian blur filter onto things, and I was abusing it for a while. You can do that. I think it's very useful, but be careful because it will slow down your computer like crazy. At least it did mine. It slowed down my computer so bad. Oh, here's me trying out all the different colors of overlay that I want for like the sunlight on him, at least on his skin. And then I give up on it a little bit because I think it's too much. Oh, there was a cut, unfortunately, where I do the reflection in the water, but that also has the Gaussian blur filter on top of it. I just put it underneath the water, blurred it, and did like a very vague recreation of his pose. Nothing too much there. Oh, and while I didn't keep the yellow overlay on top of him, I did keep it over the water to make it look more greenish. I think it just made it look more mystical and fantastical. Really interesting. I'm doing the hair now, the dark parts and the highlights. This was a really simple hair render for me. I didn't really do too much with his hair, despite the fact that it is kind of mains in center, though I do like the highlights. I think I could have done more color variation in his hair. I think I could have done a little more pink in it, if only to kind of make it more dynamic, if that makes sense. But overall, I like his hair. I really like how his hair floats and it feels a little weightless. Right now I'm going in and doing eyebrows, the bane of my existence. The bane of my existence. Gosh. I use, I typically use a different brush for the eyebrows because I want them to look like hair. If you use Krita, I don't know what this brush is called, but it's one of like the painter brushes that just has texture, a lot of texture on it. So I don't have to go in and do the eyebrow hairs one by one because that would be a little bit of torture. Oh, this is me looking back at my other artwork to make sure I remember how to draw. You know, it's when you start thinking you don't know how to draw, so you have to look at your old artwork to remind yourself that you can indeed draw. It's pretty inspirational. You know what I mean? Like, oh, look at that. I do know how to do this. Do it again. That's the hard part. Oh, I made this really beautiful piece. Do it again. No, I can try. I try. Honestly though, I feel like I always think I can't do it again, but I can, and I do. Maybe it's not the next piece. Maybe it's not the one after that, but I can do it again. I can draw that good again. Because if I did it once, I can do it again. If you do it once, you can do it again. I promise. The skill is there. You just gotta hone it. All right? But enough of that inspirational talk, or maybe inspirational, let me know. I'm going in and darkening the water like a vignette. It's a vignette, right? Right. I used to do that to my photos all the time. I'm like, why is there just like a little subtle vignette? I do kind of like it. So if I keep doing it in my art, don't worry about it. It's a habit that I'm not trying to break, actually. It'll stay. It might become a signature if I'm not careful. But I think it makes sense here because it's almost like there's like a spotlight on him, which would make sense. He's not a vain character, but he's attention starved. God, he wants some real human attention. He hasn't had that in millennia. I mean, everyone likes him. There's nothing wrong with him. I mean, everyone loves him because he's like the literal almost personification of nostalgia, and people need nostalgia in times of horror and crisis. But also like he's also living through the horror and crisis, so he's living a life. He's real sad. He misses his husband. Oh, me doing the lips. I don't like doing the lips, actually. Lips at angles are really difficult, but I do try my best. Honestly, if you struggle with lips like me, get a lip reference. Get a lip reference. Because from perspective, they can look so strange and everyone has such different lips, and get a lip reference. Don't be like me and suffer for no reason. Or just stop drawing lips, you know. But I like drawing teeth. I love drawing fangs. So there's no part of me that's going to stop drawing mouths because of that. So I'm just gonna have to learn the hard way how to do it. Me struggling to draw a nose ring is also really funny because I don't know why I don't know what it is about this angle, this like upward angle at someone kind of looking up, but also to the side is really interesting. Is real interesting. I don't know how to describe it. So I kind of leave it alone because sometimes if you mess with something too much, it gets a little crazy. Don't worry about that. I started off doing this video in steps and then I stopped. Step 1, reference. Step 2, sketching. Step 3, flat color. And then there were no more steps because I kept bouncing around, but that's okay. Oh, I'm highlighting. Okay. Oh, okay. I tried to put these highlights on him. I like how I don't follow my own advice, and I think I should have done maybe blue highlights on him instead of trying to go for these whitish, palish ones. I think they wash him out, which you wouldn't think. Or I should have leaned into the saturation and still made them orange, but brighter. You see how, remember when at the beginning of this speed paint, he looked really orange, right? But he doesn't look as orange anymore. Because I don't know, something about the shadows and all that. He doesn't look as orange anymore. Oh my God, don't worry about all my layers. Don't worry about my billion, trillion, million layers, because that's also a part of the process that maybe they'll get merged at the end, you know? Me trying to find anything in my layers is a mess. Though, if you're on Krita, pro tip, I don't do this all the time because I usually turn my keyboard off, but if you press R and then hover over a layer, it'll tell you exactly which layer, whatever mark you made is on. Though, if you have like overlay or multiply layers, it'll just, of course, you're picking the multiply layer, but if you turn them off and then, you know, do something, it'll tell you what layer it's on. It'll actually bring you to that layer and then you can do whatever. So that works. Going back in on the lips, highlighting. I do love highlighting the lips. I just love everything about the lips except trying to draw them proportionally. Don't worry about it. Oh, for blush, I added blush, I think. I usually like to do like an airbrush. Yes, I know, scary. An airbrush and then go over the character with usually a shade of like a reddish pink. Is for brown characters especially, I tend to go for like a little more peachy, something that's not leaning more towards a pink purple. Though I feel like if I were to redraw this piece, I would do a lot better. I would do better. I could do better. This rendering process is a little bit of a mess. It's a little messy. But that's okay. That's how it always is. Well, no, it shouldn't be like that. Well, hold on. I mean, it can be. It's a learning process. I feel like my trouble is always doing the same thing every time. Like I find out things that work and then I just forget to do them. And I'm just like, or I don't do them in the right order, or I get impatient and I do something else and I get distracted. And it's just like, maybe that would have worked if you did it the way you knew worked. Wow, what a shocking revelation. Huh. Okay, I'm going in with the multiply layer now just to make things darker. Sometimes I end up using like 3-4 multiply layers to just get different layers of darkness because I think it just makes it more interesting than just one. I don't know. I think it just makes it super fun. I love intense lighting. I love good shadows. I love like, I think it's really atmospheric, if that makes sense. So atmospheric. I think there's just something about it. I think I'm going in messing with that nose ring again. I need to leave it alone because I'm not fixing it. I'm going in, trying different multiply colors. Try different multiply, did I yell? Sorry. Try different multiply colors. Don't just do blue. Don't just do blue. God, don't just do blue. I think it made sense here because he is in the water and those shadows are kind of a reflection of his environment. And so blue to blue water, I think that the blue shadow works. And I also immediately was trying to use a yellow overlay in the beginning. Like, girl, what are we doing? What are we doing? I think you can use a yellow overlay skillfully. And I have used a yellow overlay skillfully recently, but I don't think this was one of those times. I think this was a very interesting time. Like, all in all, this is a solid, like, I like it. I like looking at this piece. It was my profile pick for a good while because I really loved it and I love this character, but also I do see a lot of where I could have done better, and I'm at peace. I'm at peace with myself. I'm at peace with myself now. It's okay. Be at peace. Look at your artwork. Know where you can do better. All right, guys, that's pretty much all I have to say about this piece. Not all I have to say about this character, though. I'm gonna flesh him out. He is a main part in a dating sim game I want to make, so I'll have to think about him a little more and probably draw him more, so hopefully you'll see more of him new and improved. I hope you were able to get something from that, learn something out of anything I said. I feel like this was a mix of a tutorial and me critiquing my older work, and by older I mean a month ago work. I feel like as an artist, improvement works on many scales, and sometimes it takes you years to improve something that sometimes you feel you've improved in like a few weeks and like you have a totally new skill set. It's such a wild ride and it's such a unique adventure for every single artist. Like, oh my goodness. But hopefully sometime soon I can do a video and show speed paint of my more recent work, and hopefully in the future be able to even critique that, because right now it's the most amazing thing I have ever seen for me. All right, see you guys.